Waitress the musical, which we enjoyed very much and are now going to tell you about because its original run has been extended into theaters.
Yeah, we happened to see this for radio last week and then just learned today that it's going to be out in theaters even longer. It was going to be only 5 days and now it's been extended. So this is a great opportunity for you to go and see Waitress the musical in a theater.
Sugar, butter, flour, sugar.
Order up!
Waitress the musical is the movie about the musical about the movie. The original Waitress came out in 2007, and it was a lovely, charming, sweet little indie romantic comedy starring Kerry Russell and Nathan Fillion, and Adrienne Shelly had a small supporting role in it, but she wrote and directed it and came to a really tragic demise at a very young age. It was very sad. That sort of, I think that lingers, that melancholy lingers over all of this in a show that is, hopeful, but also very sad, but also very true about the day in and day out trials and tribulations that folks go through. So here in the musical form, though, Sara Bareilles wrote the songs and she stars as Jenna. She is a waitress at a small town pie diner in the South, I believe it is. And she is in a miserable marriage to her jerk husband, Earl, played by Joe Tippett. And one day figures out she's pregnant. She's pregnant and doesn't want to have this baby. And the thing that she does with any situation in her life is she makes a pie about it. And she names the pie based on whatever's going on in her life. And so this is a trait that she got from her late dear mother that she has now passed on through her own work. And so all the pies have different names. And so she makes pies and she gets more and more pregnant and along the way forms a lovely relationship with her OBGYN. In song, and has some fun moments with the other waitresses who work there and with the elderly gentleman who owns the place. The way this is shot reminded me so much of another musical on film that we reviewed called Come From Away. In that there's this great intimacy to the camera work. You feel like you are on stage with them. You can see the tiniest details as far as how they make the pies and like flour flying into the air, or like little pieces of fruit being put on top. It's very intimate.
And the band
so
being
you can
on
really
stage
appreciate
too.
The band's on stage. And also they do a thing that Come From Away does where like different people will come from backstage and like hand someone a prop or like take someone's jacket off or like move a couch out of the way. And the seamless movement of the sets and the details is also quite mesmerizing as far as the stage production goes. And Sara Bareilles just has a wonderful, lovely presence. Like she's so likable. She's so grounded. She has the most crystal clear, beautiful voice. And these songs are all so lovely. If you've seen Waitress the musical on Broadway or in a touring production, you might love seeing it in the movie theater. I'm glad it's out there for a little while longer.
Yeah, me too. I had never seen this show. We were talking before. You were asking me if Dave had watched this with me, and even more so than I have. Like, I met Adrienne Shelly. She came to my film festival in Dallas. I had her on the jury one year, and we screened, I think, her first directorial effort, Sudden Manhattan, and was just lovely and wonderful. And so it was so heartbreaking when she died. And we've both kind of been putting off seeing this musical just because it summons memories of her, but I watched this and it is really quite wonderful. And Sara Bareilles, I've been a fan of her work as a musician. I liked her on Girls Five Eva, and she's great in this. And it's exciting to see her in this work that she was such one of the main creative forces, that made it happen. What we're seeing filmed was basically a brief revival of the show that happened in late 2021 that mainly came about just so they could film this and make this kind of permanent document of the original, cast and whatever of the musical. It's not the entire original Broadway cast, but it's, for the most part it is. And the songs are lovely and meaningful, and you really care about these characters, and you care about the side characters as well. All three waitresses have their own kind of plot arcs and that are meaningful and sweet and a little heartbreaking at times. The Dakin Matthews, as you said, is the crusty old guy who owns the diner, but who Jenna can sort of like suss out his actual like human side. is he's currently on the Gilded Age. He's also Headmaster Chilton from Gilmore Girls, so is a character actor I like a lot. So yeah, and what I think is really cool here that I haven't seen in other kind of filmed Broadway productions is the use of things like slow-mo at times. Like they'll actually do some sort of cinematic stuff on top of it that isn't just purely like the document of the show as it exists to an audience in a theater. Like this is stuff that you can only get in a filmed version. And it all works. It's never jarring. I think it only enhances, what already works about this piece. And so, yeah, it's quite lovely. If you can catch it while it's still screening, it's I think a great sort of alternative to some of the other options that are out there this month. But if not, like eventually, I think it'll work at home too.
It goes really well with pie, Alonso.
Tell me.
Is coffee. Coffee goes great with pie. And we have a deal with our friends at Coffee Brothers to take 15% off of your entire order with our code. You got to order the holiday blend today, you guys, because today is your last day to get it delivered in time for Christmas. So if you're watching us today, Tuesday, December 12th, get it now. But all year round, they have a variety of rich and delicious flavors. We've tried several of them. We love them all. Yeah. Coffee Brothers is small batch and ethically sourced beans. They're delicious. They send them to your home. Come check them out. Coffee Brothers Breakfast 15 is our code. I also want to mention Drew Gehling, who is the OBGYN, is wonderful. He has this fantastic range to his voice, a real richness to his voice. There's a lanky kind of young Jack Lemmon everyman quality to him. And he has this one great bit of physical humor with this prescription slip where it's like a Buster Keaton-esque kind of like, it's so fluid and flexible and goofy and like perfectly timed. Like it looks really hard to do.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I was thinking like this must be what like when Tommy Tune was young on Broadway and like new, because he's also like a real tall, gaunt figure, but like very, very fluid in his movement and very kind of articulated in his in his choreography. So yeah, no, he's a delight. Christopher Fitzgerald as Ogie, who courts one of the waitresses who's his own separate brand of oddball, but like magnetic.
He gets the movie's patter song.
He does. This is true. Look at you knowing what a patter song is now. Yeah.
I do. Thank you, Steve Martin.
And Caitlin Houlahan, who plays Dawn, the waitress that Shelley plays in the movie, gets a love song that knocked me out. I was not ready for, I thought I knew who this character was going to be and how she was going to be handling this. She gets this number that like one of the most gutting pieces of the show for me, where she's talking about her sort of her search for love on like online apps and stuff. This was constantly surprising, and I adored it.
What's your number?
I will say an 8.5.
I will say a 9.
Okay.
That was quite charming. Yeah, Waitress the musical in theaters now. Catch it while you can.